Good evening, everyone. Welcome from wherever you are. I know that you are joining us from many different places. My name is Betty Olo, and as always, it's my pleasure to spend this Thursday evening 1 hour with you. Wherever you are, whether you are here on our continent of Africa, to the east, to the west, to the south, or in the diaspora, wherever you are, welcome very much to our meeting. And I hope that you have been well, and the month of February is getting along very well as this year, which is still relatively new. As always, we are quite pleased to be able to give you these sessions. And again, as always, we hope that they are beneficial to you in your personal capacity, as well as in building your business and being a good influence wherever you are. And you will have seen from your invite that my topic today is detoxing our homes. If you are new, maybe it's your first time joining us for this training, or maybe your first month or first week, I want to welcome you and encourage you to be a regular participant in our training, because our aim is to share what we know with you with the very ardent hope that it is going to contribute to your success in all that you hope to achieve through this opportunity. So you will know that our goal in Neolife as Neolife distributors is that we work towards making the world a healthier and happier place. And as the saying goes, charity begins at home. We want to begin with our own selves. And as I think I've said previously, the first, when we introduce someone to Neolife, the first of Neolife they see is ourselves. And so taking care of ourselves is good for us, but also good for our business, because we are the first window into the business that our prospects see. We begin, of course, with giving great importance to our bodily health, because, of course, health is our chief interest in the business, as well as finances. So we take care of our bodily health. We also take care of those around us. We try to educate. And this, of course, includes taking care of our homes and our greater environment. So today is this time we'll be talking about detoxing our homes, but next Thursday, God willing, we'll be talking about detox, the Neolife detox for our bodies. So it is important to look after our environment in order to safeguard it for the next generation, just as it was safeguarded for us by those who loved us and have gone ahead of us. But even more important, we should look after our homes so that we ensure that they are a good place to raise the next generation, who will in their turn safeguard and build the heritage we leave to them. So we say we want to look after our environment to hand it over to the next generation, but we have to take care of that generation and raise them in such a way that they too will be able to take our place when the cycle of life takes us out and they come into our places. So we should look not only to the safety of the items we use for the upkeep of our home, but also the residues that come from them and the packaging and how they impact our environment. So when we think about detoxing our homes, we need to remember that our home is not only the house we live in, but the earth itself is our home, as our home planet. And so whatever we are using, we should think about how it is processed, how it is going to be got rid of, and what impact it is going to have on our environment. Of course, I'm not suggesting that we'll be spending a great deal of time doing this, but I think we need to pay some attention to that, because we all want to have a good home, whether it is our planet or our homes. And I know that many people who have started this business, who have built this business, one of their dreams is to have a dream home. And so in order to have that dream home, we work hard in our business. We maybe have a picture of the dream home, but more important than the building itself is the life we live inside that building. So not only our dream home, but our dream life, which we live inside that home. So many of the items that we use for the upkeep of our homes or some of the various activities that we do can contribute to making our homes and our environment toxic. And this is why being conscious about this is of great importance. So if I take a quick example is when we take care of our own personal good health, we are trying to make sure, as we spoke last week about health span, to make sure that for the majority of our lives, we are healthy. But in addition to that, the less pharmaceutical medication we need to use, the less of those residues we'll add to the environment. So by keeping yourself healthy, not needing to take chronic medication, for instance, you are already doing something not only for your own self and your family, but also for the environment. Because if you think about it, if each of us are taking 1 or 2 or 3 types of medication, then the residues from those medications is going to end up in our sewers. And from our sewers, they probably end up in our water masses. And from there, we don't know where they'll go, but we definitely know that they'll be somewhere in our environment and they may not necessarily be good. So by starting with taking care of ourselves, it's already a step in taking care of our environment. So let us look at some of the sources of the environmental toxins that we find. The first point is cleaning agents. So of course, all of us try to keep our homes hygienically clean, and we'll use things like soaps, bleaches, drain cleaners, air fresheners, laundry detergents and conditioners, personal hygiene products, and so on. All these are going to, in one way or another, find their way into our sewer system and into our water masses. So that means that whatever we are using as cleaning agents, we should think about what they will contribute to the environment, whether the environment is going to be able to break them down and neutralize them into harmless byproducts, or they're going to build up and start having bad effects on our health. Which means that apart from taking care of our personal health, by using our Neolife home care range, we are taking the second step towards ensuring that the agents we use for the upkeep of our homes, the cleanliness and the hygienic nature of our homes, those products are going to be friendly to the environment. They are not going to add to the toxic load of our environment. And that means that each distributor has to give it great importance that we use our Neolife products. I find that the good thing about there are many good things about our Neolife product, but the one I'm thinking about right now is the number of products we can replace with just 2 or 3 of our products. So for myself personally, like all distributors, we use the products in the cleaning of our homes. I know that the products that I always have with me are LDC, Super 10, Care, as well as G1 Laundry and G-Soft and Gold Neolife Soft. So these ones I find replaced just with those, how many products? 5 products. I'm able to never need to go into the cleaning aisle of a supermarket, because with LDC, you'll take it from the kitchen to the bathroom, to laundry and so on. So for instance, if I'm doing hand wash, I will use G1, but in order to create foam, add some LDC. If you need to clean the garage, you need to clean the ovens, you need some heavy duty cleaning. We know that Super 10 goes into very many places where it does some good work in heavy duty cleaning. Our care solution can do everything from bathing minor wounds to cleaning our bathrooms and toilets, and so on, making sure that our garbage cans are clean. So with this 5 products, we do the majority of the cleaning of our homes. And then, of course, because our products are non-toxic, we know that whatever is going to go down the drain in our homes and enter the sewer system is not going to increase the toxic load of our environment. In fact, it is all biodegradable, it's going to break down into harmless substances in the environment, and thereby ensuring that we contribute to making our environment less toxic. We also know that our products are concentrated, which means that we save on the packaging, because from my 1 liter of LDC, I can make 11 liters of LDC in its diluted form. I just need to use water from my own house to make up the other 10 liters after I buy the 1 liter of LDC. So that is from our cleaning side, that by using our Neolife home care range, we'll already be not only saving money, but we'll also be saving our environment from toxicity. Then the next one I want to mention is tap water. So we know that in many places, unfortunately, in our continent, we still have many people who do not have access to safe drinking water. And I hope that in time, we shall be able to deal successfully with that problem. But we know that places where there is running water, the water is chlorinated in order to kill any disease-causing microbes and make it safe for drinking. But chlorination does not remove the chemical impurities that find their way into our water system. So, for example, things like agricultural additives, industrial residues from drugs and medication, and other kinds of matter byproducts of our lives. These will find their way into the water, and some of them can be neutralized by the water treatment centers, but not all of them have been recognized and can be removed. Therefore, we have to think about the quality of our tap water. There are places where the tap water might be safe enough for drinking. There are places where the tap water is not used for drinking at all because it has been found to be not safe to use. So when we think about our tap water, it has got benefits because they have killed the disease, many of the disease-causing microbes, but at the same time, we know that there are many chemicals within it that can be harmful to us, and of course, can also contribute to the toxic load of our environment. Then another source of environmental toxins is the industrial and agricultural byproducts and residues, for example, insecticides, fungicides, herbicides that we use in agriculture, maybe certain items that they use in to clean premises in industries and factories and so on. So these residues will remain in the soil if, let's say, they find their way through the water into the soil. Some of them might be released by unscrupulous people into our waterways. Some of them in the form of smoke can also pollute our air. And some can even pollute the soil water. Let us say we spray them on our plants, and when we water the plants, some of the residues from the chemicals that are used in agriculture will make their way into the soil. So this means that, of course, the toxins can find their way into the plants, can find their way into the animals, and can cause all kinds of harm. So we need to also think about that and think about ways in which we can contribute to lessen this problem. We know that we have got our excellent product of Supergrow that helps farmers a great deal. I think those in East Africa use it extensively in the farmlands and sell it to our farmers and give good education about that. I also know that our brothers in the west of Africa also use it a lot in fish farming. So a simple product such as Supergrow has been such a great contribution in reducing the amount of these agricultural byproducts that enter our environment. If we also include a product like LC30, our heavy-duty industrial cleaner, this one will help if we go out to those that we know who maybe own industrial premises and factories, to educate them on the importance of using an environmentally friendly cleaning product, because that way they take better care of the environment in which they operate. So, of course, our Neolife Detox program, we'll talk about it next time. But just to say that our supplementation program also is important in that it helps our body to get rid of toxins without adding to the toxic load itself. Of course, however, in our lifestyle, we should always minimize the load of toxins that enters our body. And the first place to start is with our environment. But another place to look is in food additives. So another source of environmental toxins is food additives. So when we talk about food additives, we are talking about chemicals that are added to food, especially packaged food, to preserve them from spoilage, to lengthen their shelf life, maybe to improve their texture, or to improve their appearance, or to improve their flavor. So all this is done to food which is highly processed, because the processing of food changes its appearance, and in order to make them competitive in selling and attractive to customers to buy, they have all these additives. Unfortunately, quite a lot of these additives are not food materials in themselves. They are simply chemicals. There are some companies now that are trying to use food additives that are made from food. So, for example, some of the cheese, they might use carrots to color the cheese or something like that. But in many cases, the colorants, the flavorants, the emulsifiers, and so on that are added to food to make it more palatable or more attractive, or to keep it, give it a long shelf life, is not actually food, and our bodies do not recognize them as such. This means that such things will end up giving our liver and our kidney a lot of work to try and process it, and to neutralize those chemicals so they are not harmful to us. So the majority of our food, for that reason, should be minimally processed. And here in Africa, I would say that we are quite fortunate, because it is not so difficult to find food which has not been processed, or which is only minimally processed. And I think it is up to us, as we are better educated about the dangers that are posed by the industrially manufactured food, that we should take the trouble to support the farmers and growers who produce this minimally processed food, so that they are able to go on and to be able to make some profit. So if you are in agreement with maybe some farmers from the rural areas, you can get for yourself food which is still in very good condition, which has not been tampered with too much. And by educating the farmers, we can also give them the knowledge as to why it is important for them to minimize the use of some of these chemicals. And by doing so, and avoiding the highly processed foods, we will be supporting our farmers, we'll be supporting our small industries, and we'll also be protecting our environment. So every little bit that we can do counts, and we should make an effort to do so. Then another source is the pharmaceutical residues, which I think I've already mentioned, that many people are now on chronic medication, and many of these have got residues that can actually not be recognized by the water treatment facilities, which means that quite a bit of the residues end up in our sewage and water systems, and because the plants are not equipped to neutralize them. So any effort we can make to live healthier lifestyles and to avoid being on medication, unless it's absolutely necessary and unavoidable, because of course these things do happen, then anything we can do to mitigate for this and reduce the amount of some pharmaceutical residues that enter our environment will be good. Of course, things like junk food, I think, is another source of environmental toxins in the food themselves and in the way that they are made. So junk food should either be eliminated or should be used only very rarely, because of the effect they have. But we'll talk more about that when we are talking about the detox, the personal detox. Then the last source of toxins I wanted to mention is one which is quite common in our lives today, and that is plastic food containers. So as plastic containers become old and are worn out by daily use, washing, freezing, microwaving, they start exuding some of the plastic material from which they are made. And let's say if you use such a container for heating your food in the microwave, some of those toxins will enter your food, and they are known to interfere. Some of them are known to interfere with our hormonal systems. So for that reason, I think that I would recommend that where possible, we should use glass or ceramics or enamels, which we used to use before plastic was available. This is not to say that plastic is our enemy. We know that plastic plays an important role in packaging, just to be careful about using them in foods, especially foods which we are going to heat up. So if we can use them for other kinds of packaging, it's all right. But when it comes to maybe keeping leftovers and rewarming the leftovers, particularly in the microwave, I think that maybe we go for other items that are less likely to have this problem. So of course, I'm sure you're going to be able to add to my list of ways in which environmental toxins can come into our environment. But now I wanted to look on the side of our Neolife product supplements a little bit. So the Neolife supplements provide food-based concentrates which augment our efforts to fulfill our nutritional needs. So just a very lengthy way to say that our supplements are food concentrates, and their job is to help us to fulfill what our bodies need. And I've on various occasions received questions about our supplements being medications, but they're not actually medications. We can think of them as food which has been concentrated and formed into a tablet or a capsule. So this means that chances of them being toxic to us is just as to say that your food is toxic to you. Healthy food will not be toxic to us. So in this way, our Neolife supplements are playing an important role in augmenting our nutrition. And since they are food-based, we don't have to worry that they are contributing to polluting our environment. And of course, we know the basic of our supplementation is 3NN, which works at a cellular level to help us to benefit from all our good lifestyle habits. And then if we step up, we go to Provitality, which provides us 3NN together with carotenoid complex, omega-3 salmon oil, and multi. So these form the foundation of our Neolife supplementation. But if we look in our home care range, I've already mentioned to you the basics that we can use in the home care. We can start with LDC, which can be used everywhere from showering to dishwashing to cleaning, maybe doing laundry of delicate fabrics, like let's say kitenges or these beautiful African fabrics that we have, which we want to preserve for very many years. By using LDC, we are going to preserve them in very good condition. Then we also have Super 10, which is our heavy-duty cleaner. We have Care, which kills 99% of the harmful germs that can be in our homes. And all these, of course, as I said, are environmentally safe. For our laundry, we can use G1 laundry compound. If you are using it for hand wash, then G1 laundry does not produce foam, which is why it is usable in a washing machine. So if you're using it for hand washing, then you might need to add some LDC to create some foam. And then, of course, we have got Neolife Soft, which is an excellent fabric conditioner, which I find is very effective, very concentrated, and also does not have a strong smell. I struggle with things which are heavily perfumed, and there are many people who have got certain health sensitivities like allergies who would benefit from a product like G1, the Neolife Soft, because it is not likely to cause allergic reaction. So if you've got someone maybe who suffers from asthma or who suffers from respiratory problems, we have to think about the perfume that is used in many of the things that we buy in the shops. They usually are heavily perfumed, and a lot of the stuff they use for perfuming can actually be at the base of some of the allergic reactions that we get. Then I have 2-3 minutes left, so I wanted to just speak more about the endocrine disruptors, a question I got some time ago. So endocrine or hormone disruptors are environmental toxins which interfere with our hormonal system. Our hormonal systems are very important in our bodies because they are chemical messengers that our body produces to send messages to different organs to do different things. So for example, when we're speaking about type 2 diabetes, we spoke about insulin, which is a hormone that plays an important role in the management of our energy system. We've got other hormones like the thyroid hormones that are important in growth and energy production. We have got many different kinds. We have got reproductive hormones like testosterone, which give men their masculinity. We have got progesterone, which is important in our femininity and in reproduction. So if we have environmental toxins that interfere or disrupt our hormonal system, many of them act by mimicking our hormones and preventing those hormones from delivering the message that the body requires them to deliver. So some of the sources of these hormone disruptors, they're normally abbreviated as EDC, the environmental, but EDCs come from the residues such as from plastics, from synthetic agricultural additives, but also byproducts of factories, byproducts of drugs, and so on. So these environmental disruptors, endocrine disruptors, are likely to be in our environment. And this is the reason why I was adding this question here, because they don't come from nowhere. They come from the substances that get into our environment. And they've been connected to certain problems, for example, problems to do with breast cancer, problems to do with a number of other cancers, and these include things like prostate cancers and so on. So it is important, and certain kinds of infertility are also connected to these endocrine disruptors, because remember that our human fertility is very much dependent on a very, very carefully balanced hormonal system. So if we have something in our life or our home, our environment that is tampering with our hormonal system, it's going to have far-reaching effects. So for this reason, as I mentioned before, when we are using plastics, we should be very careful, because they have been linked to being among the sources of these endocrine disrupting compounds. So in Neolife, for this, we always also recommend Phytodefense, which is a supplement that is made from plant nutrients. Especially for endocrine disruptors, we recommend Cruciferous Plus, which is excellent in defending us against the effect of these endocrine or hormone disruptor compounds that might be lacking in our environment, in our homes, and so on. So we take a two-pronged attack by taking care of our environment itself, but also by using those supplements such as Cruciferous Plus to help our bodies to neutralize some of these offending disruptors that will interfere with our system. So I see that my time is up. As I said, we'll continue with this topic of toxins in the next week's session, when we'll be talking about the detox the detox program of Neolife. So now I want to thank you very much for allowing me to spend this time with you and to share these thoughts with you. I hope they've been beneficial, and that you will go out there and be very willing to share what we know in our Neolife businesses and company, and share these products, share this information, because the first step to change is knowledge, and we need to send out this knowledge. Many people will not really know the importance of doing some of these things that I mentioned, but every little bit counts, as I said. And so I hope that you are going to go out and do your best to take care of our environment, so that it can also take care of us, and those especially who depend on it for their livelihoods, like our farmers, our fishermen, and so on. So let me hand you over now to Pascal, who is standing by to take you through the next session. And let me say that I continue to wish you all the best in your business and all your efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Betty. That is a good lot of information about toxins in our environment where we live. And I think it's very important for us to take notes and actually do something about that in our homes. The next session I would like to discuss with you or share with you is about building the structure. Neolife has what we call a compensation plan. That compensation plan is designed to reward you for building leaders in your team. That's the reason why the compensation structure is there. Now, how do we, let me go to this. Okay. I want to talk to you about building structure. Why is this important? Building structure is important because the base unit of our business is the director volume, the director business. Director business simply means you build an organization that is doing 4,000 PV, excluding other directors in your team. That is a director model. And for you to take steps to the next level, world team members, president's team members, diamond directors, the company rewards you for building other directors in your business. So, and that is important. That is why it is important to understand how to build a structure. Building a structure, simply think about a structure as a tree. If you want the tree to be very stable, the roots have to be deep, but also the roots have to be wide. Our business is similar. If you want a stable business that keeps earning you money month after month, you need a very deep roots in your structure and also wide. So two things we're going to discuss today is width and depth. First thing, how do you build width? Width is simply means the people you sponsor directly under you. And you build that by sponsoring people, recruiting people in your business. Start with a name list, that is a prospects or name list. Two is to prepare and invite correctly. Learn to tell your story, show the business and follow up. If you keep doing this over and over and over again, you're going to sponsor people in the business. Last week, you remember we were talking about the funnel principle. That means that at any one time, you need to be having at least 15 to 20 people that you're speaking to at different stages of the decision making, but they narrow down to only 2 to 3 people will probably decide to join the business. So the ones who join the business become your width. So how do you build structure? Step number 1, you build width. Width is potential volume. Business volume doesn't come from building width. Business volume comes from building depth. So the first thing is build width in your business. I would suggest if you're new in the business or if your nursery is still young and is not growing, you need to go wide, 4 to 6 very quickly. That means you need to you sponsor 4 to 6 people personally so that you can have some legs to work on. How do you build width? You build width by starting the building a name list, inviting people to see the business, showing the plan for those who are interested, and follow up to close. Okay? Remember, fortune is in the follow-up. Most people make the decisions after 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 times you're contacting them for the business. Once you start building width, the next thing you need to do for each of those legs is to build depth. Depth simply means that the people you've sponsored in the business, you help them to sponsor others. For a leg to be very stable, you need to go 12 to 14 deep. A principle that I remember Hansi Cronier taught us long ago when he started the business is always work at the top of the root. That means, let me say I sponsor John today, and John prepares a name list. Let me use this. I sponsor number 1. I help number 1 to sponsor number 2, and then I help number 2 to sponsor number 3. The idea in each leg is to go 14 deep. If you go 3 deep in each of these 6 legs, that business is likely to become a director volume. But for that director to be qualifying every month with 4,000, you need to go at least 8 or 9 deep for that leg to be stable. So the goal is go wide until you find 3 legs to work with. That means you have 3 people you sponsored personally that you want to help to become directors. Okay? So build width, Then identify the legs that you're going to work in. How do you identify the legs to work with? Number one, work with people who have shown interest that they actually want to build the business. Because not everybody is going to be committed to build the business. So work with the people who are interested to build the business. Number two, teach them how to sponsor. You only know you sponsored somebody after they sponsor somebody, then you know you sponsored somebody in the business. So work on the taproot. The taproot simply means the newest person in each leg. And the idea is to go as deep as possible, 12 to 14 deep. Teach each person to go wide as above. That means when you sponsor somebody, teach them how to sponsor others. While you work with the new people they've brought into the business, they need also to go and build their own width. And then work with the willing. This is a simple explanation of it's called a 622 plan. That means that when you start the business, the idea is to go 6 wide very quickly. And then once you're 6 wide, teach each of those people to sponsor 2, 2, 2, 2. And the idea is to build a director volume using this system. Once you build a director volume, that leg is not going to count for your qualification as a director. That's why you always need to be in the creative phase. Creative phase simply means you need to be sponsoring people all the time. The reason you do this is some of the people you sponsor will start to grow and become directors. And when they become directors, you need a separate volume from their team in order to qualify for the next step as a world team member. Okay? Focus on what duplicates. What does that mean? It simply means that if you're doing something, ask yourself, can people in my team duplicate what I am doing? Can they do what I do? If they cannot do what you do, then you better think again. So focus on what duplicates. Keep sponsoring always, because people you sponsor will outgrow you. That means they will learn enough to be able to build the business without you. And that is actually your goal. Your goal is to sponsor people, equip them, and let go. It simply means you've trained them well enough that they don't need your guidance. Okay, they still need your guidance, but they don't need you to hold their hand to be able to build their business. So develop the right attitude towards your business. Why is this important? This is important because the key thing about success in our business is attitude, your mindset. Our business actually is very simple. Our business is Neolife makes products, puts products in 50 different markets. You are the distributor. Your job is to move those products to different customers. That is really what our business is. But to be able to do this, you need the right mental attitude to motivate your people so that they can do things for themselves. Aim at discipline, not motivation, because motivation goes up and down. Motivation actually starts you on the path to success. It is discipline that keeps you on the road to success. And remember, you need to do things so much until it becomes a habit. Okay? One of the things that I'm sure most people know about this business, when you go for conventions, you see people who are very excited, they go on stage, people clap for them. It's very tempting to think that those people are more successful because they are super, or they are talented, or there's something about them that you cannot do. No. Don't make other people extraordinary to get yourself off the hook. What those people have done, you can also do. Okay, there's no difference between you and them. The only difference is they've made a commitment to build the business, and they build their business with a lot of excitement, with a lot of enthusiasm and discipline. That is the only difference. And then keep your eyes on your future, not your past success. I remember, in fact, I was listening to the CD yesterday when I was driving from one of my meetings, Miles Monroe. He says the greatest threat to your future success is your past success. because it is easy to be complacent. So keep your eye on the future, not your past success. Do not pay attention to what your mind is telling you. And the reason I say this is when you start building the business, you're moving from your comfort zone to your pain arena. Things become uncomfortable. Things become challenging. Sometimes you feel discouraged. And what does your mind begin to tell you? That this thing is too hard. No, you need to take a break. You need to rest. Don't pay attention to your mind. Pay attention to your goals. Pay attention to the goals you've set, your action goals and your target goals. That is, action goals are things you need to do. Target goals are things you need to achieve at the end of the month. So do not pay attention to what your mind is telling you, because your mind is designed to keep you safe. Your mind is designed to maintain the status quo. That is why when you start doing something new, you always feel uncomfortable. Why? Because there is change occurring. The mind is struggling to keep the status quo, and you need to keep doing that until it becomes comfortable. It means you have grown. And then have an accountability mirror. Just either have an accountability mirror or have somebody that you can be accountable to. Why is this important? Because we are always a very poor judge of our own excellence. Okay, so going back to building structure, number one is to build width. After building width, number two, build depth. Depth simply means work with the newest people in your business at the taproot to grow your business. And then focus on what duplicates. That means focus on the simple things that is easy for your people to duplicate. In fact, the simpler you make the business, the faster your business will grow, because people are able to duplicate what you do quite easily. So, after talking to you about structure, something else that is important about structure is this. Whenever there's a big event coming, make sure that you have 6, 7, or 8 legs attending that meeting. Why is that important? That is important because you need leaders in each leg to be able to qualify as directors to take the next step. That leads me to a very powerful idea that I'd like all of you to really take note: the power of events. On Monday, we had a guest, Angela Omega. Angela has just become a new director, and she has also built another director. That is a time between August last year and this year. That is a space of only 4 to 5 months. She was a senior manager when she went for the convention in Dar es Salaam, and now she's a director, and she has built another director in her team. Why? The power of events. Events are very important because events is when there is social proof of what the business can do. Number two, people's mindset is changed for success because of the excitement. Because sometimes when you approach a prospect, they only see you. When they go for their first meeting, their belief begins to increase. When they go for a monthly event, their belief in the business increases further. But when they go for a convention, when they go for a big event, while they see 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people excited, their belief level goes through the roof. And that is why it's very important. If you're a distributor, if you're serious about building a team, make sure you know when the next event is going to be. Start selling these events to your downlines, and make sure that each event, there are at least 7 legs in your group who are attending this event. Why 7? Because somebody in any one of those legs will catch the vision to grow your business. This is the power of events. This is the power. I remember our own case when Betty and I joined in March, I think 19th of March, 1996. Then we went for our first big event in July in Bloemfontein. Bloemfontein is about 600 kilometers from Pretoria. And there were 4,000 people in that event. That's the first time I saw Charlie Bolton, our upland director at that time, Johannes van Eden, Hansi Kronia. I think Hansi Kronia was a diamond director. Or then I saw people going on stage, smartly dressed. Their income was way above 30, 40. I mean, 30 or 40,000 that time, 20 years ago, was a lot of money. When I saw people going on stage, something changed. That's when the penny dropped for me. I remember I was so excited in the event, I started collecting names of the people who were attending this meeting. And then Betty leaned and whispered in my ears, do you know these people are all in the business? I was so excited about the business. We came back. By October the same year, we had taken our first step Sapphire Director. That is the power of events. People make decisions at events. People's mindset get changed at events. People make commitments at events. So wherever market you are in, find out when the next big event is going to come. Number two, start selling this event to all your people. Tell them to, in fact, I must congratulate Grace Chege for encouraging Angela to attend the convention in Dar es Salaam. Because this is what makes the difference. Any future event that is coming, make sure that your people know the date, where it is going to be, how much it costs. If it's transport, find out how much it costs, the ticket for the gate, give them all the details of arrangement so that they can start saving and attend the next big event. If you do that, you will find that your business actually takes off and you start growing leaders in your team because events make a big difference. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage all of you, wherever you are, make sure that you know the next events, find out the date, where it's going to be, start selling your events to your team. If you do that, you will find that your business begins to take off like a rocket. So I want to thank all of you very much for sharing this evening with Betty and myself. Alan, I really appreciate you hosting our meeting. You've been hosting our meeting for the last, I don't know how many years, 2.5 years, going 3 now. So all the distributors, thank you so much. Next week is a month end. So if you haven't achieved your targets for the month, there's still a whole week of work to do. I would say that almost 30 to 40% of the business is done in the last week of the month. So I wish you the very best and success in your achieving your goals for the month of February. Thank you, good night, and God bless.